Investiture of the Gods, Chapter 56.
When the envoy from Shiki, this high official Sanya Shang, shows up at the Deng camp, Deng Jiugong's first reaction is refusal. He won't even see him.
Wait, really? He refused? That sounds unusual for a general. Even in a siege, don't you usually at least hear what the other side has to say? Why was he so worried that just talking would, as the source puts it, confuse the morale, the Huo Luan Junsen of his own soldiers?
Well, it boils down to legitimacy, I think. Deng Jiugong is very aware that the Zhu cause, Jiang Ziya's side, is gaining ground, gaining momentum. If he's seen meeting with a Zhu envoy while they're actively fighting, it sends a message to his own army. Maybe the conflict isn't absolute, maybe it's negotiable. Or even worse, maybe the Zhu actually have a point, a legitimate claim that needs considering. Any hint of peace talks or an alliance could undermine the total loyalty he needs.
Ah, okay. So avoiding the meeting is his first line of defense, trying to control the narrative by not letting it even start, protect his reputation.
Exactly. But that avoidance tactic doesn't work out. One of his own forward generals, Tai Luan, actually steps in. Tai Luan convinces Deng he has to meet San Yusheng. His advice is basically, you need to act opportunistically, sui jing bian. You can't manage the situation if you refuse to even know what it is.
All right, so the door opens, San Yusheng comes in. And he doesn't beat around the bush, does he? He lays it out. He says, look, Shiki forces have captured one of your generals, Tu Xing-sun, and Jiang Ziya has spared him for now, apparently unwilling to, quote, cut off human affection, Jiranjian onai. And the reason for this mercy, because Tu Xing-sun is claiming he's actually Deng Jiugong's future son-in-law, his Mensu, promised to Deng's only daughter, Chen Yu.
Yes, and that's the first real shot across the bow. That's the pressure point. Deng Jiugong's reaction is, well, it's pure rage, absolute denial. He insists his daughter Chen Yu is like a jewel to him, precious, and he absolutely would not promise her to some, no-name small fry as he sees Tu Xing-sun. He views this whole claim as a direct insult. An attack on his family's honor, on his own standing.
That denial is fierce, you can picture it. But San Yusheng must have anticipated this, right? He came prepared. I mean, maybe the average soldier doesn't know Tu Xing-sun well, but San Yusheng immediately works to boost his public image, doesn't he? Reminds Deng that Tu Xing-sun isn't just some random grunt.
Exactly. He points out Tu Xing-sun is a disciple of a very powerful immortal, Julius Sun.
Oh, okay. Mentioning the immortal Julius Sun, that's not just a casual detail, is it?
Not at all. It's a strategic move by San Yusheng. He's signaling a couple of things here. First, this prisoner you're holding, he has powerful connections, people who will notice if he just disappears or gets executed quietly. And second, if Deng Jiugong denies this marriage claim too forcefully, he's essentially disrespecting or challenging the reputation of an immortal's disciple. This elevates the whole dispute. It's not just military anymore, it's social and political.
Right, it adds weight. And then San Yusheng applies the psychological pressure. It's really clever how he does it. He doesn't directly accuse Deng of lying about the promise. Instead, he sort of softens it. He suggests, well, maybe the promise was made in the moment, perhaps after a few drinks, or maybe just as a way to encourage Tu Xing-sun to comfort his heart and wake us in, because Tu Xing had been achieving these major victories on the battlefield.
Yes, that little suggestion, maybe it was just a small lapse, a boast made after drinking it, completely pulls the rug out from under Deng's angry denials. The source material is quite clear here. Yeah. So San Yusheng's words bought out all the deep-seated matters in Deng's heart. It forces him to confront the truth, and he has to admit it. Yes, he did promise his daughter Chen Yu to Tu Xing-sun. It was meant as a reward if Tu succeeded in capturing Shiki.
Wow. So the actual military situation that Tu Xing-sun is currently an enemy prisoner becomes almost secondary to the social narrative. Deng's own pride, his own words, trap him.
Precisely. And San Yusheng drives the point home with that final, absolutely crushing argument based on honor. He uses that classic proverb, a great man's word cannot be retracted. Besker and Vittel. The saying is, Yi yan ji chu, sima nanzui. A word once spoken, even 4 horses can't chase it back. San Yusheng spells it out. If Deng backs out now, everyone will see him as unreliable, his word meaningless. And, even more devastatingly, he argues it will destroy his daughter's reputation. She'll suffer the sigh of white hair by Tujitan, meaning she'll be shamed, seen as rejected, perhaps unmarriageable for life.
Just imagine that moment. You're this decorated general, your officers are watching, and this envoy from your enemy forces you to admit you made this drunken promise about your own daughter's marriage. The public humiliation alone must have been intense. He's completely trapped. The text says he just goes silent deep in thought. Momogensi. He's basically surrendered, politically speaking.
He really has no choice but to comply with the social expectation. If he reneges on his word now, especially after admitting it, the news would spread like wildfire. Deng Jiugong, the great general, is a man whose promise means nothing. In the context of leading an army where trust and authority are paramount, that's utterly catastrophic. So Jiang Ziya has scored this major tactical victory without even needing a battle, just by holding Deng accountable to his own culture's code of honor.
Okay, so Jiang definitely wins the PR battle there. He forces Deng into this corner. But does that momentary defeat, that political surrender, actually give Deng a chance to hit back? Does it open up a new angle?
Oh, absolutely. Deng Jiugong is a seasoned general. He's not just going to roll over. This moment of silence, this momentancy, is where the pivot happens. While Deng is stuck, lost in thought, his general Tai Luan steps up again. He whispers what the text calls a brilliant scheme to Yimiaoji right into Deng's ear. And instantly, Deng's mood shifts. His despair disappears. He politely sends Sanya Sheng away, using the excuse that, naturally, he must consult his daughter first about the marriage.
So Tai Luan sees the opening, turned the diplomatic defeat into a military trap. What was the core idea of this counterplan?
It was pretty straightforward, actually. Pretend to go along with the wedding, but use the formal requirements of the marriage ceremony, the betrothal gifts part, then the pin, as bait. So, Tai Luan is sent back to Jiki. He carries Deng's apparent agreement. Yes, the daughter Shanyu consents. But there's a condition. For the alliance to be taken seriously, to give General Deng the proper face, the respect due to his station in such a major union, Jiang Ziya himself, the chief strategist of Yiki, must personally escort the groom, Tu Xingsun, back to the Tang camp for the ceremony.
That seems almost suspiciously convenient for Deng, doesn't it? Wouldn't strategists like Jiang Ziya immediately smell a rat? Expect that a forced wedding invitation is probably an ambush?
Oh, he almost certainly anticipates it. But that's the genius of using the social custom. Refusing to personally escort the groom under these circumstances. It would be politically awkward, maybe even insulting, after forcing the marriage issue in the first place. Tai Luan's plan, as laid out to Deng, is brutally clear. If Ziya comes and he doesn't bring a large army, well, then he's just one common man, easily captured, vulnerable. And if he does bring his top generals for protection, even better. They'll lure them all into a big celebratory feast, get them drunk, and then kill them. Deng Jiugong is apparently thrilled with this idea. He exclaims that Ziya is basically coming on his own to deliver himself to death.
Okay, so Tai Luan arrives back in Shiki, delivers this demand, Jiang Ziya must come personally. And you'd expect Ziya to maybe hesitate or propose a counter plan, but instead the text says he just laughs heartily. He turns to his companion, the immortal Juliuson, who's been involved with Tu Xingsun, and says, "The great thing is accomplished." Dashi Qingyi. He accepts immediately. Accepts the invitation to what seems like his own potential execution. Why on earth would he do that?
Because Ziya sees the bigger picture. He understands the invitation is almost certainly a trap, but the trap itself presents an opportunity. This whole marriage alliance, even if it's a total sham, provides the perfect public excuse for him to get closer to the Shang center of power, or at least appear to be trying. Publicly, he justifies accepting by saying this wedding is a wonderful, peaceful chance, a chance to bypass the fighting and go directly to the emperor to express his true feelings, Biao by Yu Tianxia, about his loyalty and the Zhu cause. It's brilliant PR. He frames himself as the reasonable one, the diplomat prioritizing family and peace, while Deng is the one stuck managing the fallout and, secretly, planning violence.
So he's willing to walk into the ambush because the political win, the appearance of being honorable and seeking peace, is that valuable?
Exactly. It sets the stage so that any fighting that happens next looks like Shang aggression, not Zhu rebellion. It makes Deng look like the treacherous one. So while Ziya is polishing his public image, winning the narrative war, Deng Jiugong gets busy setting up the actual physical trap, preparing for bloodshed.
All right, let's talk about that ambush setup. Because this wasn't just a few soldiers hiding behind some rocks, was it? Deng Jiugong put together a really elaborate, multi-layered trap. It was designed for complete destruction, all disguised as a wedding feast.
Oh, the preparation was meticulous. It shows just how committed Deng was to this betrayal, how high the stakes were. He needed to be absolutely sure Ziya and his group had no chance of getting out. First, there's the element of pure, shocking deception. He orders 300 elite soldiers to literally bury themselves in the ground just outside the main banquet tent. Each soldier is armed, concealing a short knife, a duan dali ren. The plan is for them to burst out of the ground during the feast.
Buried soldiers.
Yeah.
Waiting right onto the celebration floor. That is genuinely chilling to think about.
And the signal for the attack. It's deceptively simple, devastatingly effective in a feast setting. the striking of the cup, Jiugong. Someone drops or strikes a cup during a toast and all hell breaks loose. But it doesn't stop there. Deng sets up multiple layers. He positions flanking forces. Zhao Shen commands troops on the left. Sun Yanhong commands troops on the right. They're ready to charge in the moment the hidden soldiers attack.
Okay, so an attack from below, then pincers from the left and right.
Yeah.
What about Zia's own guards or generals who might accompany him?
Deng thought of that too. He stations Tai Luan, the architect of the scheme, and another officer, Deng Zhu, right at the main camp gate, the Yuan men. Their specific job is to intercept any of Zia's generals accompanying him, to basically trick and restrain them, prevent them from reaching Zia or escaping. So Deng is making sure that when that cup drops, Zia and anyone near him are hit simultaneously from 3 sides below, left, right, while any potential help is cut off at the entrance. It's a classic kill box, designed to wipe out the enemy command structure instantly.
It's a ruthless efficiency. And what about the bride-to-be in all this, Deng Chanyu? She's the whole reason for this supposed wedding. Is she just a pawn, or is she involved in the ambush plan too?
That's one of the most striking details, actually. Yes, Deng Jiugong explicitly includes his daughter, Deng Shanyu, in the military orders for the ambush. She, the nominal reason for this whole diplomatic dance, is assigned to lead a third relief force, a Sanluji Yingxi. She's basically the backup. Her role is to command soldiers who will charge in if the main ambush forces somehow get into trouble or if Zia's group puts up unexpected resistance. She's there to ensure the kill's completed. So she's far from just a passive pawn in the diplomatic game. She's an active military commander in the plot to murder her supposed future husband and his entourage.
Zia's reaction.
Yeah.
The proposal arrives, and he doesn't pause, doesn't take days to think. He agrees immediately.
Right. And that instant yes must have just, confirmed everything for Deng Jiugong, made him feel like his scheme was working perfectly.
A bit too perfectly, maybe.
Well, hindsight, yes. But at the moment, it was a psychological win for Zia right off the bat. Deng Jiugong probably assumed that quick agreement meant desperation or maybe just naivete.
But Zia was already steps ahead, counterattacking in his mind.
Oh, absolutely. While the public face was all wedding prep behind closed doors, Zia immediately meets with Zhu Lisun. Zhu Lisun is Tu Shengsun's master, and they weren't talking guest lists, they were having high-level military negotiations.
So not wedding planning, but operation planning. They needed absolute precision, didn't they?
Total coordination. Zia's first demand was all about logistics. He needed Tu Shengsun ready to bolt, basically, to rush into the rear camp, that's Deng Jiugong's most secure zone, the exact moment the signal was given.
Which shows you the goal wasn't just getting out alive. It was about capture right from the start.
Capture, yes. And the physical deception, it was exquisite. Zia picks 50 strong, battle-tested soldiers and disguises them completely as porters, the guys carrying the huge wedding gifts.
Right, these massive boxes and bundles, supposedly full of silks and gold.
Yeah, but actually just camouflage for a mobile strike team. They weren't just carrying gifts, they were carrying in Binglight Ren-concealed weapons.
And key leaders, too, like Xinjia, Xinmian.
Disguised as well, just blending in as, harmless attendants. The whole group was basically a hidden detonation team aimed right at the heart of the enemy camp.
And the beauty of it, as you said, is Zia seems to know exactly what Deng Jiugong is planning.
The sources confirm it. And look at the other side. Deng Jiugong makes his fatal error. He tells his daughter, Deng Shanyu, not just to, look presentable for her wedding, but to wear tight inner armor, the Yan Xinjia, and be ready for his signal. He was so confident in his plot, he basically telegraphed his intent to his own daughter, prepping her for an ambush, not a marriage.
Wow. So Zia knew the trap's internal workings and planned his counterattack around it. He didn't just rely on that inside strike force, though, did he? He had backup.
Oh, definitely. He set up external forces, too, to make sure it was total encirclement once things kicked off.
A classic envelopment.
Precisely. He deployed the very swift Lei Zhenzi to hit the left flank, then Nangangxi to cover the right flank, and the main cavalry, the rescue force, led by Jinza and Muzha, was positioned to just charge straight into the chaos.
Covering all the bases.
Yeah.
And everyone just waiting for one thing.
One sound, the signal, a massive cannon blast.
Okay, so the day arrives. Zia shows up, riding his divine beast, looking completely non-threatening.
Yeah, the tech says he's traveling with only upwards of 50 or 60 people, and critically, no armor or weaponry. He looks vulnerable.
And Deng Jiugong sees this.
And the source says he was in anxiety, secretly delighted, overjoyed probably.
That's it, isn't it? That's the moment Deng Jiugong loses, right there. He saw only what he expected to see.
Absolutely. It's textbook confirmation bias, just wrecking an intelligence operation. He was so focused on his own clever trap, luring Zia out, that Zia, looking unprepared, just seemed to confirm it was all working.
He saw an easy target.
Not a brilliantly disguised invasion force.
So they all gather inside this presumably heavily decorated banquet tent. Must have looked festive.
Gorgeous, I imagine. But underneath the music and the drums, you can just feel this, murderous energy.
Yeah. And Zia plays his part, goes through the formal greetings, introduces Tu Xing-sun.
The tension must have been just unbearable. Then Zia asks for the gifts to be brought forward, and Deng Jiugong, he steps up to read the gift list, this long ceremonial list of offerings.
He's distracted.
Yeah.
Reading poetry, admiring calligraphy maybe, not watching his six.
Exactly. And that is the trigger. Shinjia, one of those harmless attendants, takes out a hidden fuse. Shang lights it and ignites this huge cannon that was hidden inside one of the main gift boxes, the very symbol of the supposed union.
Oh man, the shock.
The sound is described, in epic terms, like the earth collapsing and mountains crumbling. Yeah. Imagine 1 second you're listening to a gift list in a fancy tent, the next it's just localized Armageddon.
Instant chaos.
Utter chaos. Deng Jiugong and his commanders, they were caught completely flat-footed, Buji. They just turned and scrambled backward. And the moment that cannon fired,
those 50 porters
dropped the fake gifts, drew their hidden weapons, and rushed the command tent. The wedding party instantly becomes this brutal strike against the enemy leadership.
And what sealed the deal was the timing of those flank attacks, right?
Perfect timing. This wasn't just a brawl in the main tent, it was a coordinated collapse of the entire position. The guards on Deng Jiugong's perimeter, they were immediately cut off by Zia's commanders who just sprang up from their hiding spots.
Total encirclement. Lei Zhenzi from the left, Nangong Shi from the right.
Squeezing Deng Jiugong's forces into the middle, causing panic. No way to organize a tactical retreat. Their command structure just evaporated because the attack came from inside.
And amidst all that chaos, Tu Xing-sun had his own mission.
Right. He raced straight for the rear camp. Deng Xianyu, remember, she's a skilled warrior herself, known for throwing stones.
She tried to fight or flee.
Tried to escape, yeah. But Tu Xing-sun was prepared for that. He used the Immortal's binding rope.
Yeah, Christian Shang. Powerful artifact.
Instantly took her down, knocked her off her horse, seized her. They had their main prize. And she was immediately rushed back to Shiki, Zia's base.
Just a total rout, a colossal victory. Zia chases them for over 50 li. That's quite a distance, before calling his troops back. So Deng Jiugong's brilliant plan. It ends with his army scattered and, crucially, the loss of his daughter.
That's a strategic loss, but also an emotional one. It basically guaranteed the fighting dynamics would completely change.
It's the ultimate power move, really. Zia neutralizes the military threat and gets the chance to absorb his opponent's best asset, Deng Xianyu, into his own side.
Yeah, through marriage, forced though it was.
Which brings us to the next phase. We shift immediately from battlefield chaos to this, very strange, forced union. Zia, wasting no time, declares that Tu Xing-sun and Deng Xianyu were getting married that day, calls it the auspicious hour.
Can you imagine? And Deng Xianyu, as you'd expect, is absolutely furious.
Wouldn't you be?
Right. And the confrontation between them, it's really revealing. It shows this huge gap in their worldviews. Deng Xianyu sees Tu Xing-sun, and let's be honest, the text implies he's not exactly physically imposing.
A bit rough around the edges, perhaps.
And she just lays into him, calls him a shameless commoner who betrayed his master for glory. She flat out confirms her father's offer was just a trick, a zhuanjiang zhengshengzhi, and says she'd rather die than marry him.
Strong words. But Tu Xing-sun, he doesn't back down. He comes ready with, a multi-point argument.
Oh yeah, it's a full rhetorical assault, designed not just to win the debate, but to break her will and justify everything, politically, even spiritually.
Okay, walk us through it. What's point one?
Point one. Moral obligation. He reminds her of the Liao Jizi, and remember, he apparently cured her illness earlier. He starts by saying, "You owe me."
Okay, a debt. Then
he hits her with filial duty, but twists it. He claims her father did promise her to him before. The condition was he had to assassinate King Wu or Zia first, but Tu Xing-sun argues, hey, a promise is a promise, yan wei ding. The word was given.
Shaky ground maybe, but he's trying to use her father's word against her.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? This is where it gets interesting, right?
This is the checkmate move, really, the spiritual angle. He reveals his master, the immortal Julie Sun, consulted the oracles, did the divination, and confirmed they have a red thread of destiny, the Hong Siju Zi Yuan. They are fated, destined to be loyal officials together, serving Zhu.
Ah, the destiny card.
Exactly. And he claims that's why Zia spared him earlier and approved this marriage now, because it's divine will. It's bigger than all of them.
So basically, it doesn't matter what you or your father wanted. Fate has spoken.
Powerful argument in that context. Extremely. And he immediately follows that up with cold, hard political reality. King Zhu of Shang. He's lawless. Heaven favors the Zhu dynasty. And he throws that proverb at her. Wise birds choose the tree to roost in. Wise ministers choose the master to serve. Essentially, join the winning team. It's a smart move.
Practical politics meets divine mandate. Is there more?
One final blow. He goes after her reputation. He tells her, look, the entire army already knows you're captured specifically to be my wife. If you resist now, nobody will believe you've maintained your honor. You're banking Yujai, your purity. Public shame. He makes resisting socially impossible for her.
Wow, that's comprehensive. He's hitting her from every possible angle.
Yeah.
Morality, duty, destiny, politics, and reputation.
It's a complete psychological takedown. She's overwhelmed. She asks, just wait, let me see my father first, trying to salvage some dignity, maybe.
It's a last attempt to control something.
But Tujing's son refuses. He's afraid she'll change her mind or maybe find a way out. And the source material here is, well, pretty stark. It describes a prolonged physical struggle. It says it lasted over an hour.
Gosh.
Before she's finally overcome. The narrative kind of wraps it up quickly then, saying she resigns herself, closes her eyes, allows the union. And the text frames this whole thing as a beautiful destiny, crediting it all to Zizia's brilliant scheming.
So this union, it just creates this immediate strategic mess. We want to look at let's say, the political footwork needed to sort it all out.
Yeah, it's a spectacular mess, really. I mean, think about it. You've got the daughter of a completely loyal Shang general suddenly married into the enemy camp, and her dad is still out there on the battlefield trying to destroy that very camp.
Right.
This isn't just some family tiff. It's basically an international incident that needs fixing, like yesterday. The text is pretty clear. The goal was achieving what they termed twofold perfection.
Twofold perfection.
Yeah, securing the family's honor and their survival, both at the same time.
That sounds like trying to get a huge promotion at the rival company, but somehow keep your old boss happy.
Yeah.
Almost impossible, right?
Exactly. And the pressure cooker is on immediately. Chan Yu and her new husband, Tu Xingsun, they go straight to the main Zhu strategist, Jiang Zia.
Okay, so they front up to the big boss. They thank him, for the marriage arrangements, I suppose. But it's Chan Yu who just cuts right to the chase.
Huh.
She immediately brings up the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Her father, Deng Jiugong, is in this impossible spot.
Mm-hmm.
She tells Zia flat out, it's completely improper for father and son to be serving two nations, her words. And then she asks him, the enemy strategist, to come up with a plan to save her dad.
It's just brilliant what she's doing there. She's basically signaling, look, I get the stakes here probably better than anyone.
Yeah.
If her father keeps fighting, he looks like a fool and he's sacrificing his family, her.
Right.
But if he defects just like that with no good reason, he's just a common traitor. Low level.
Yeah, dishonorable.
Exactly. So she needs Zia's help to frame this as like a high-level diplomatic surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, her whole new life, her marriage, it's built on the fact that her own father is probably going to be defeated and executed.
So what does Zia do? This is an unprecedented request. Does he send envoys? An ultimatum?
Neither. His response is perfectly calculated, classic Zia, really. He suggests that Chanyu herself should go. Go and convince her father.
I'll back on her. Wow.
Yeah. It's more than just delegating a tricky job. It's a really smart test of her loyalty. He's essentially saying, okay, prove you're really with us now. Bring your father over without us having to lift a finger, without any more bloodshed.
And it leverages that family connection.
Precisely.
Right.
Which, as we see time and end in this period, is often way stronger than loyalty to the state, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Chanyu, does she hesitate?
Not for a second. She agrees immediately. That's key. But then she adds this incredible layer of political savvy. She tells Zia the only reason she didn't suggest it herself was because she was afraid he might doubt her true feelings. That's the phrase used.
Playing the game.
Totally. Or that he might suspect her of repeated betrayal, being a double agent.
So she anticipates his suspicion and just neutralizes it up front. Very clever.
Exactly. By admitting she was worried about looking like a double agent, she basically assures him she isn't one. She makes it clear, This isn't just about her family, it's a strategic move for Zhu.
And she guarantees results.
She does. She promises that if Zia gives the order, her father will become a Zhu minister, and, crucially, no need for bows and arrows. She takes full responsibility.
A masterclass in negotiation right
Yeah.
there. Okay, so she gets the green light, rides out under the West Sioux banner, leading troops. Let's switch perspectives. What's happening over in Deng Jiugong's camp? What's his state of mind?
Oh, Jiugong is in deep crisis mode. He's just managed to scrape together the survivors of his army after a really crushing defeat.
So morale is rock bottom.
Completely. He's drowning in the shame of the loss, the public disgrace he knows is coming. The sources use that great phrase, he's like a sheep touching the fence.
Stuck, can't go forward, can't go back.
Exactly. Ireland, the classic dilemma. He can't advance, too scared to retreat because he knows what's waiting back in the capital. He's there with his son, Deng Shu, his remaining officers, Tai Luan, Zhao Shang, Sun Yanhong, basically trying to figure out how to avoid, well, manifest execution.
Grim. He's already bracing for the worst outcome. And then, out of nowhere, his daughter appears, who he maybe thought was captured, maybe worse. And she's leading enemy troops, wearing their colors.
Oh, the impact must have been devastating. The text says there was immediate shock and uncertainty among his officers.
Yeah, I bet. What is this, an attack? A surrender demand?
They have no idea. And this is where Chanyu's performance is just pure political theater. It has to be seen that way. She doesn't ride in like some conquering Zhu commander. No.
Yeah.
She dismounts, gets down on her knees before her father, weeping. Really dramatic.
Weeping.
Yes. And then she blames him for the whole situation.
Blames him. But she's trying to save him, isn't she? That seems counterintuitive.
Ugh. But it's the most critical part of the whole strategy. She needs to craft a story, a narrative, that lets him save face.
Okay. How does blaming him achieve that?
She spins this tale, a false narrative. She claims that Jiugong accidentally promised her to Tu Xingsun during some earlier fight.
Accidentally promised.
Yeah, like a slip of the tongue in the heat of battle, or maybe a misunderstood boast. And because of his mistake, his careless words, she says, she was captured. And then she claims she was forced to marry Tu Xingsun in the Zhu capital, Shiki.
Oh, I see it now. It wasn't her choice or his betrayal.
Exactly.
It was an unfortunate consequence of his, well, verbal blunder, and she was coerced.
Precisely. It reframes the whole thing. Jiugong isn't a traitor selling out his daughter. He's now a victim of bad luck whose daughter was taken and forced into marriage by the enemy because of his unfortunate words.
It gives him the perfect cover story, an honorable excuse to, well, to switch sides.
It's the justification he desperately needs. It protects his reputation, at least somewhat.
Okay, so she's laid the groundwork, protected his honor with this story. What next? Does she stick to the personal drama?
No, she pivots immediately, like a true politician. From the personal sob story straight to the cold, hard political facts, she hits him with arguments that the text says left him terrified.
What are the main points she uses?
First, the big picture. King Zhu back in Shang, utterly without morals, everyone knows it. Then the killer statistic. 3 parts of the world, 2 belong to Zhu. The momentum is undeniable.
So resistance is futile, essentially.
That's the message. And she drives it home by reminding him of heaven's will to Che. Look at all the legendary Shang heroes who've already fallen, she says. Wen Taishi, the Mo family generals, even those powerful true immortals.
Right, all defeated by Zhu.
Their failure proves it, she argues. Destiny is with Zhu now. Fighting on is basically fighting against fate itself.
That's powerful stuff. Turning his loyalty from patriotism into just stubborn fatalism.
Exactly. And then she delivers the final blow, the appeal to self-preservation. She tells him straight, you go back to Chaozh now, after losing your army, disgracing the nation. It's manifest execution. Guaranteed.
No ambiguity there.
None. The only path left, she says, the only way to preserve their bones, their kin, their entire family line, is to abandon darkness and turn toward light. Join Zhu.
Jiugong's no fool. He must see the logic, however bitter it is.
The text says he realizes her words are highly reasonable. He knows she's right. His choices are basically defection or death.
But there's still that personal hurdle, right? The honor piece.
Yes. His one remaining hang-up, according to the text, is pure pride, the shame. The thought of having to kneel before Jiang Zia, the very strategist he was sent to defeat, that stings.
A veteran general having to bow to his rival? That's a tough pill to swallow.
It's a very human reaction, isn't it? Dignity versus survival.
Does Shan Yu have an answer for that too?
Of course she does. She's thought this through. She reassures him. She tells him Zia is known to be humble to scholars. Sarar. that he respects talent, even from former enemies. She promises to smooth the way, make the introduction easy. Basically, don't worry, Dad, the new management is classy, they'll treat you right.
She's managed the whole process from start to finish. Incredible.
And this leads us to Zia's side of the diplomacy. He plays his part perfectly, too. As soon as Shan Yu gets back and tells him her father's ready to defect, Zia doesn't just sit back and wait.
No. What does he do?
He immediately orders this grand procession, a formal welcoming party, and he doesn't make Jiugong come all the way into the city like a supplicant. He orders the procession to meet the defecting general a full mile outside the city wall.
Oh, that's a huge gesture of respect.
Absolutely critical. It signals to Jiugong, and just as importantly to Jiugong's remaining men, that this isn't a surrender under duress, it's a welcomed alliance. It preserves Jiugong's status.
So, the actual meeting, how does it go down?
It's choreographed beautifully. When Jiugong arrives, he maintains that last bit of dignity. He bows humbly, but he does it while still mounted on his horse.
Stays on his horse, okay.
Yeah. And he asks Zia to forgive his meager talent and shallow wisdom. It's his final symbolic nod to his own pride, even in submission. And Zia's response, perfect. He doesn't demand Jiugong dismount or make a show of subservience.
He accepts the gesture as is.
He goes further. He immediately takes Jiugong's hand, assures him, we are now ministers in the same court, instant equals. And then he throws a huge feast for Jiugong and his officers in the Silver Ann Hall to celebrate the union.
Wow. Swift, painless, and celebratory.
Exactly. The defection is smooth, publicly honored, and politically seamless, just like Shan Yu promised. No bows and arrows needed. And the very next day, Deng Jiugong formally pays his respects to King Wu. It's a done deal.
That really is the perfect twofold perfection achieved. Family saved, honor mostly intact, and Zhu gains a valuable general and territory without a fight.
Yeah.
But Zhu's gain is Shang's massive loss. This news must hit Charge like a thunderclap.
Oh, absolutely. The fallout is immediate. Word travels fast. Han Rong, the commander at Sishui Pass, sends an urgent report back to the capital, Chaosh.
And what's the spin in that report?
He reports that Deng Jiugong has surrendered, yes, but he frames it specifically. Jiugong has privately married his daughter to the enemy nation.
Privately married. That phrasing is key, isn't it?
It's everything. It shows the Shang court immediately buys into the idea that this was a selfish personal betrayal.
Not a strategic calculation based on the odds or destiny?
Right. They see Jiugong as corrupt, putting his family connection above his duty, not as someone making a calculated political pivot.
And who has the unenviable job of delivering this bombshell to King Zhu?
Grandmaster Zhang Qin. He takes the memorial up to the king, who's holed up in his infamous star-picking tower, the O.
And King Zhu's reaction? Predictable, I imagine.
Exactly what Jiugong feared. Pure fury. A deep sense of personal betrayal. He rants about how Jiugong received great favor, Seder, from the throne, and this is how he repays it.
That was revenge.
Absolutely. Immediate manifest execution for the traitor Deng Jiugong and his entire family. That's the order. But this moment, this failure, it forces a strategic rethink in the Shang court. They realize something's wrong.
How so?
Well, they grasp that relying on generals who are terrified of failure, terrified of that manifest execution, might actually be counterproductive. It might be driving defections.
Ah, the fear of punishment is making them jump ship rather than fight harder.
Precisely. And this insight comes from Fei Lian, the middle censor grandmaster, Ye. He gives some crucial advice. Fei Lian warns the king, basically, this system isn't working. Fear breeds disloyalty. He advises King Zhu to shift tactics. Stop relying on generals motivated purely by avoiding punishment. Instead, he says, use a general who is blood and bone, someone whose loyalty is baked in, guaranteed by their fundamental relationship to the throne.
Right. So ditch the potentially self-interested career generals.
And bring in family. Enforce loyalty through kinship, through familial consequence. The idea is someone connected by blood won't dare betray the dynasty.
Okay, so who fits that bill? Who do they pick?
Fei Lian has a specific recommendation. The Marquis Su Hu of Jizhu.
And the reason?
Because Su Hu is a royal relative, a Gina, and a respected senior vassal. The logic really appeals to King Zhu. If Su Hu fails, it's not just his own head on the block. He brings shame directly onto the royal family itself.
The stakes are instantly personalized, raised to the absolute maximum.
Exactly. Failure becomes unthinkable for Su Hu, or so they believe.
And King Zhu agrees.
Immediately. He orders the symbols of supreme military authority, the yellow banner and the white axe, to be dispatched to Su Hu in Jizhu right away.
So the new strategy is locked in. Trust in kinship.
And that decision just completely reshapes the next phase of the conflict. It sets the stage perfectly.